You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks Podcast Network with your hosts Will Huckabee and Mika Villas.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wrestling Nerdcast, brought to you on the Angry Marks Network. I am your hostess for the evening, Mika Villas. I know you probably are thinking, oh my gosh, where's William Huckabee? She killed him. I have not. Huckabee is here joining us live via satellite as he travels from South America back into the grand old US of A. Just because of his being in travel, we did not want to deprive you guys of another week of this wonderful podcast. So here I am taking the lead. I'm sorry, but Huckabee is here, along, of course, with CW, who you won't see, but you'll get to hear me talk a whole lot this episode, guys. So strap in, get ready. I'm not going to do all my names, you know, the Scream Queen, hashtag what that mouth do. I'm one half of Wrestling's Cutest Commentary team. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to stroke my own ego or put myself over. Not when I have a co-host who will do that for himself so well that I don't know how he is, you know, in a relationship, because I don't think anybody can do it better than him to himself. Oh, I'm sorry. I shouldn't talk about that. Huckabee, are you there? Say hi to everybody tonight.
Hey, Mika. First of all, not leaving South America. I was still in North America. I understand the Chicago public school system's not that good, but Mexico is still considered North America.
I was trying to give you international experience, okay?
Mika, once again, I don't know how the Chicago public school system is, but Mexico is still considered international, so I still have international experience.
You just crossed the border. And a matter of fact, how the hell did you get back? How come they didn't keep you? You look like you could have been illegal.
Well, if it makes you was wondering, I did tell a Border Patrol agent that I was from Wakanda, which kind of popped his partner. So, but no, you know, having a good time. Thank you for, you know, taking the lead on this show tonight. I appreciate it so much while I'm traveling back to the great state of North Carolina, actually from Telecinco, Hidalgo, Mexico. So thank you, Mika.
Of course. That's what partners do, and apparently I'm your partner always in this podcast. You heard that? Always. You're stuck with me for a long time. So I know that you are traveling in a method and on this luxury bus. People are like, hey, bus. But honestly, truly, that's kind of the best way to go. You get to kick back, relax, let somebody else do the driving. You get to see a lot of the United States and Mexico, the country. So how was your trip there? And you want to talk a little bit about how your experience was at performing in Mexico and how you did. I believe you defended a title, one of the titles. Was it the AIWF something or other? You've got about 800 titles. I don't know which one.
I only have 5. I got 4 now. Anyway, the reason why I like traveling by bus, A, is because I'm a big dude, and so, like, I just get, like, an entire row to myself. Unlike on the plane, where you're like cramped in like 16 inches of space. The countryside of Mexico is full of food. Oh, Jesus. Mika, you talking about you like tacos. Let me tell you something. I would never eat tacos in America ever again. Ever, ever, ever. The food was amazing. The scenery was amazing. The cool thing about riding on the bus is that you get to see a part of Mexico that you can't see from the plane. I had a lot of fun there, learned a lot. Did some training that was super crazy, and his trainees and his brother and stuff. So overall, got some great feedback. Yes, I defended the AIWF World Heavyweight title. What happened? Hopefully we got some pictures because I gave my phone to somebody to record it for me. And let's just say that the instructions were lost in translation.
Oh, no. Oh, just point and shoot. There's no... I guess if you say it wrong, point and shoot, when you're speaking another language could actually be something totally detrimental to your health. So, you know, that's pretty, I guess it's pretty good you're still with us and not, in some back barrio or something. I don't know. But now you've got me wanting to go to Mexico and do, all the tacos because yes, I am a food connoisseur, much like yourself. So that's awesome. And super crazy. I mean, oh my gosh, super crazy is a absolute positive legend. For those listening who might be a tad bit on the younger side, I can share with you my experience about like super crazy. Super crazy is, of course, first and foremost, one of the first luchadors that I remember seeing on WCW, and he was absolutely crazy. I mean, no pun intended, but just the moves, the things that he did in the ring, his speed, the fact that he was not scared, and when I saw him, the high flying. He had great hair too. I'm a huge, huge hair person, so his hair was fantastic as he flipped and flied around. But he was one of the people that introduced me to the luchador style, being, a silly American. Before I started going back and doing my homework and kind of looking at all of the great Mexican wrestling that was out there.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Mika, Super Crazy was really cool. Like, his family, his students, his staff, they were so welcoming. I felt like a dumb American because I thought I knew enough Spanish to get by. Turns out I did not. A lot of sign language. I had to download an app, like a language translator app on my phone to kind of try to get around. But I also did a lot of touring stuff, did a lot of tourist stuff. I actually went to the El Santo Museum because for a lot of people who don't know, El Santo is the greatest Mexican luchador in history. He's from Telecinco, Mexico. They have this huge statue, kind of like the Rocky statue in Philadelphia. So I went and I checked that out, went to the museum. The funny thing is they don't usually allow people to take pictures in the El Santo Museum. But because I was a luchador as well, who was visiting from America, the museum curator actually allowed me to take pictures of everything in the museum. So once I get home and stuff, I'm actually going to upload those.
That's amazing. That's awesome. It's very rare that your Americanness comes in handy, but it sounds like you had a great time from the food, the culture, and of course the wrestling. Who did you defend your title against, by the way?
It was super crazy. But I also had a chance to do a 6-man and an 8-man tag match. The guys there, man, are just amazing. There was a lot of international talent there. If you look on the flyers, check my social media, you'll see there was guys from Canada, there was people from Brazil, from New Zealand, myself, I was from America. There was another guy from North Carolina, Big Rob is actually from Burlington, North Carolina, trains over there for NRLL here in North Carolina. He was there, he's my tag team partner. A lot of luchadors. There was a mini Rey Mysterio, mini Super Crazy. I actually met AAA, for all the luchador fans out there, I met AAA Cruiserweight champion Lancelot, met him this weekend, got some really good advice from him, got to train with him and stuff. So it was a great weekend. As far as the wrestling goes, I picked up some tricks, learned some new techniques that I'm bringing back with me to America to really solidify my position as the heavyweight high flyer.
Oh my gosh, that's a new nickname you just threw out there, heavyweight high flyer. For those keeping score, Huckabee has about 21 nicknames that he uses, so that makes 22. The heavyweight high flyer.
I'm trying to give that Chip Day. I'm trying to give that Chip Day, David Starr, White Mike thing. I'm trying to get on their level.
Oh my! Well, you are definitely well on your way because you have so many nicknames. I legit was going to write them down one day, but I thought about it. I don't want to kill that many trees, so I'm not going to do it because it would take a whole hell of a lot. Don't hate me because you have 850 names. That's not my fault. Heavyweight high flyer. HH. Just double H, huh? Yeah, I see what you did there.
Bam. So how was your weekend, Mika?
My weekend, It was really good. So this weekend I attended two wrestling events. On Friday, I went to night one of New South Wrestling's Haas tournament. That was in Hartselle. I'm probably saying it wrong. Hartselle, Alabama. New South, I've been out there, my gosh, maybe a couple times now. They do a really good show. They had tremendous talent on this card. This was a elimination style. I want to say 16 guys. I can't remember them all, but I can drop some names on you. You had Ray Fury, Fred Yehi, Austin Theory, Sugar Dunkerton, Cheeseburger from ROH fame was out there as well. And I'm missing some names, but lots of good guys who were out there in this tournament. Oh, Jake Parnell, the Warhorse. Jake Parnell, yeah, New South is really bringing in those names, and they had a name that was just kind of near and dear to my cold, undead vampiric heart that headlined the show. That was the one, the only, the man who, believe it or not, there would be no Edge and Christian if not for this guy, the one and only Gangrel. Gangrel was there at New South, and it was fantastic. The fangirl in me just absolutely positively died.
Mika, I gotta ask a question. Why do they call it a Haas tournament? Because where I'm from, a Haas means it's nothing but the big boys. And the talent that you're listing out, not too many big guys there.
That is a proper name for Haas. You want to add Trip Cassidy to that list of people? Of course, I love me some Trip. I just popped into my head, but this was not necessarily standing for big boys or meaning any weight class or division. It was the Heart of the Southern States tournament, Haas, the acronym for the word Haas. But in all honesty, Haas is just one of those kind of southern kind of campy names for big man on campus, or just somebody who's just a figure, whether it be an imposing figure or what have you. And you have to think about, in wrestling, one of the things is always your presence, how you come across, how your figure or how you're perceived by fans and opponents alike, I would take it. So it was basically who out of these competitors would be the last man standing, who would be the one at the end to be the Haas in this tournament. And that Haas was somebody who we know, we've talked to, as a matter of fact, friend of the show, Fred Yehi. Yehi picked up the win in this tournament. Let me tell you, I did not go to night two. Again, this was a 2-night tournament, but in the first round, Fred took on a Cabana Man Dan, who, if you know Cabana Man Dan, he wrestles barefoot. If you know Fred Yehi, he likes to stomp on appendages, toes, feet, whatever. I literally and truly yelled for Cabana Man Dan to put some damn shoes on, because I did not want to see his toes get broken and stomped to a bloody pulp in front of me. But to my chagrin and perhaps his own, Fred Yehi had no problem whatsoever stomping on that man's toes. So I'm sure that he'll be, good to go maybe later after the swelling goes down and what have you. He won't be wearing flip-flops for a while, I can tell you that much. But Fred Yehi is indeed a Haas. Congratulations to him on picking up the win in that tournament. Again, you had lots of talent in this tournament. Jake Parnell, if you don't know the Warhorse Jake Parnell, I know him from the infamy of his match recently with Gary J, where it's pretty graphic. He had his mouth kind of ripped from I guess it was a piece of the ring, the turnbuckle or what have you, that was placed in his mouth and kind of pulled, and he had this whole Joker thing going, and it was bad. Just the pictures of what looked like a third mouth for him, you can look that up on his web page, on his Instagram and what have you, Jake Parnell, the Warhorse. He posted the pictures. I saw him in person. The scar is pretty gnarly on his face. It is healed, but it's still, it was still pretty graphic, that what happened to him. When we talked about graphic and scars, We had Trip Cassidy. This was Trip Cassidy's first match back after a 3-week hiatus from him getting in a death match. And death match, glass, shoulders, and arteries don't really go together. So Trip went through I don't know, some kind of glass apparatus, and he had 13 stitches. It was bad. He was there, showed me his scar again. Chicks dig scars. I'm not your average chick. I was like, oh my God, don't do that again. That's horrible. So, but he did well in the tournament as, being back and, kind of forgetting how to move his body. He took on Sugar Dunkerton, who showed no mercy going after that arm. It was pretty graphic. It was pretty good. I mean, kudos to both guys, but Suge D picked up the win there in that first round matchup.
Well, Jesus Christ, it sounds like he's had all kinds of fun. For anybody who's wondering, right now I'm sitting in the heart of San Antonio. So if you hear a bunch of horns and stuff in the background, because that's what's going on.
All right. Tell the Riverwalk I said hey. San Antonio is beautiful.
Who are you telling? This used to be my city. I used to be stationed here when I was in the Army. So, cool for all of our military veteran listeners and stuff. But, yeah, having a good time here in San Antonio right now. So what happened on night 2, Chris? You say you had a good weekend. What other shows did you go to, Mika?
Well, my second night was not independent wrestling. If you watch Raw, you will see yours truly there. I know a bunch of times because my phone kept blowing up because people were like, I see you on TV. I went to Monday Night Raw, the last Raw before WrestleMania. Was here in Atlanta, Georgia, and yours truly was literally front row there to watch the action. It was not a bad Raw.
Did you take a sign?
No, I didn't.
Oh, Mika, you did not hold up a sign for the Wrestling Nerdcast at Raw?
I did not hold up a sign. I'm not creative at all when it comes to signs and pictures and graphics and all that stuff, So, like, if somebody wants me to hold a sign or whatever, I'm good with that, but they have to provide it. I did not do good in the coloring inside the lines. I'm all over.
You could just made a sign that said, listen to the Wrestling Nerdcast.
Understand that would have been so far out of my creative capabilities. It would have been like, listen, and that's all you would have saw on the sign. It just would not have worked. Trust me when I tell you, it would not have worked. I didn't get a chance to watch Raw because I was on the road. So how was the last Raw before WrestleMania? Was it better than the last couple of Raws? It was better than the last couple of Raws, but for me personally, it was not the best go-home show to your biggest show of the year. The main thing that I was looking forward to that did not happen, that I'm, again, disappointed, is that we did not see The Undertaker. Once again, for the 4th week in a row, Cena came out to the ring, tried to summon the dead man. The crowd in Atlanta almost blew the roof off of the Phillips Arena. And no dead man, not a gong, not some smoke, not any indication that The Undertaker was going to accept this challenge. So that was just, for me, horrific because this is your show, your flagship show that is supposed to sell your pay-per-view. Even though it's WrestleMania, you still need to drive home that people need to subscribe to the network. People need to pay the $9.99. People need to get in on this to watch The Undertaker versus John Cena. And they didn't deliver. That left me lacking for lack of a better word. I just was like, that's it? Really? I'm out of here. I wish I could have left because I would have probably just said, forget it. I want my money back. Let me put it like that. If I could say, hey, Vince, I need a refund. I didn't see Taker. I really would. The saving grace for that Monday Night Raw, for this Raw, was the match between Finn Balor and Seth Rollins. I'm not sure how it came across on television, but this was honestly and truly, it could be match of the year. 100% match of the year because these two guys went at it. I don't know how long they went at it. There were so many false finishes. They knockdown, drag out fight. Miz was on commentary. I'm sure he was just great. I didn't get, of course, being in the arena, couldn't hear it. But the match itself, When they came to the ring, I really was disappointed. I was like, I do not want to see these guys fight again. I've seen this match. I've seen this fight several times. But they made me sit on the edge of my chair, yell, scream, and you know me, I'm loud, because they were just so seamless, so flawless. They worked so well together in the ring. I watched everything really close, and there was only a couple bobbles that I don't think anybody else would have paid attention to, but they were great. I mean, at the end of that, the crowd, the "This is awesome" chants, or just during the match itself, because they put on a damn show. They put on a WrestleMania quality match. I'm looking forward and hoping that what I saw Monday, I will see repeated Sunday, but add in the Miz and his talent to that. So yeah. Oh, and Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman. If not for Braun in that match, I would have been highly disappointed. Braun, of course, is supposed to find a tag team partner and take on the Bar come WrestleMania. And Braun Strowman came out and told the Bar he would tell them who his partner was if one of them agreed to fight his partner, sight unseen. And they said, sure, whatever, we'll fight him. We got introduced to Braun's brother, I guess it was supposed to be, Brains. Braun and Brains, or Brains and Braun. This was, I guess, a nerd version of Braun, complete with glasses, a white shirt, looking like a nerd, coming to the ring. And yeah, it was Braun in, I guess, cosplay, for lack of a better word. So the comedic value was there, but of course the intensity and the get these hands was also there, which made it made a great show. I yelled for KK, friend of the show, Camilla Kane, to be his partner, but I don't know if anybody else picked up on that.
I was going to ask you, like, how cool would it be if our friend of the show, Camilla Kane, was his partner for WrestleMania?
Oh my gosh. You want to talk about blowing? I know the Superdome is probably retractable or whatever, but I know personally I would do everything in my power to scream and yell and blow the roof off the place if Camilla Kane came out at WrestleMania as Braun's partner. I would literally try to kill people around me because I'd be so excited.
Speaking of WrestleMania, because I know you're going, unfortunately I can't make the trip, but when are you leaving for WrestleMania?
I will be on the road to WrestleMania early Thursday morning. We'll be rolling into beautiful, or whatever you want to call New Orleans, NOLA, somewhere Thursday mid-afternoon. Get settled in and try to check out a couple shows. I'm sort of a last minute Betty here, guys. I really wasn't going to go this year. I had other plans that kind of fell through, but now I'm going to try to slide into the various shows. WWN Live is putting on some great shows. I don't know if you had a chance to check this out or if anybody is really paid attention, but on night one of WWE's Access, well, all nights of Access, they're actually having shows or matches from the big Progress, Evolve. They're going to have some of their night one is Lee, who is the Evolve champion right now, take on Cassius Ono, or as we know him in the independent circles, Chris Hero. We're going to see Hero versus Keith Lee in a WWE ring on night one of Access. That is huge. They're also going to do the I think Progress Tag Team Champions on a lot of the indie people. And honestly, I might get a ticket just to go to night one of Access to see Keith Lee versus Ono.
That's worth the price of WrestleMania by itself. Like, that match, can you hear me?
Now I can, yeah, go ahead. Now we can hear you.
Okay. I was going to say, that match right there, Keith Lee versus Cassius Ohno, is probably worth the trip to New Orleans by itself. You got somebody who is somebody I like to call myself, he's a super heavyweight, kind of like myself. Like, you know, with all due respect to myself and other big super heavyweights, Keith Lee is the pinnacle of super heavyweights. So you're talking about a big man who has evolved what a big man is supposed to look like, work like, and be like. Keith Lee is what all of us super heavyweights like try to emulate, try to be like. And then you got a technical master like Cassius Ohno, somebody who can wrestle circles around damn near anybody on the planet in the same ring. Like, Jesus, man, that's gonna be a great match to see. Hello, did I lose you?
No, I'm here. I completely agree with you. I mean, Keith Lee calls himself limitless, and of course, if you are a independent wrestling fan, you know that is absolutely true. The fact that Keith Lee is going to get introduced to a WWE audience, no matter how limited it is, being that it's access, I'm hoping they record this and put this out there for the masses to see. So WWE again is reaching and going for everybody, every wrestling fan, independent and their own, and I'm liking this. So with that being said, I think it's about time. We have our guest tonight coming on. Emil J is our guest. While Will hangs out in San Antonio, we're going to take a moment here to get Emil J on the line.
Indie Custom sponsored athlete Amber Young works with her local YMCA and A Place to Dream building beds for children in low-income families.
A Place to Dream is a program that the family YMCA of Greater Augusta is doing. The CSRA has many wonderful social services agencies helping low-income families obtain housing, but few help these families turn their housing into functional homes.
Consequently, residents are forced to sleep on the floor, air mattresses, sofas, or crowded into a bed with other family members. Recent studies link poor sleep with cognitive, physical, and even behavioral health issues. People who do not get enough quality sleep have poor concentration, weaker immune systems, and an increased risk of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and heart disease.
Research has found that children with proper bedding sleep an average of 20 minutes more each night than children who have unfavorable sleeping arrangements. That's more than 2 hours per week. The family YMCA staff and volunteers are going into these low-income housing authorities and building the beds, making the beds, and just getting to know the families, all for the children. We currently have done 3 different days and delivered over 120 plus beds for the children.
Please remember, shirts are only $20 and all proceeds will go to A Place to Dream. Make sure to send your payments to www.paypal.me/indiecustoms and remember to include your sizes and your addresses plus $3 for shipping. And thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, because I'm so amazing and better at this than my illustrious co-host, tonight's guest is not only the voice of CZW, that's Combat Zone Wrestling for all of you smart marks out there. He's also the voice of Dog Wrestling, which is Dangerous Alliance of Wrestling of Gladiators. He is a commentator. He is a ring announcer. He is a hip-hop battle rap fan, which probably puts him more over with me than anything else that he does. You can catch him and his sarcastic wit and his love of battle rap and all things pro wrestling, not only on his Twitter, but this weekend you can see him live and in person when CZW invades New Orleans. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the one, the only, Emil J.
Man, yo, Huck, I think maybe you need to start introducing people because that was one hell of an introduction. My God, thank you. Happy to be here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I try, man, but I'm nowhere near as good as you are.
Oh, stop. Come on now. But yeah, man, pro wrestling and battle rap, my 2 favorite loves, and right behind that is mid-90s figure skating. So try to figure me out.
Mid-90s figure skating? Okay. I'm gonna just jump in here right now. I'm so sorry, Huckabee. Just hang out in San Antonio there. Please explain to us mid-90s figure skating and the love of that. I mean, I can do the battle rap maybe, the wrestling definitely, but the figure skating just I have no words. Please enlighten the class.
That came from watching TV on the weekends with my grandma. My grandma growing up. When I was growing up, my grandma was a big figure skating lady, and when it was on in the afternoons, I would sit there and I would watch it. And you know, it to me, I know this is kind of like a little bit of a stretch, but figure skating to me, I see a lot of implements of professional wrestling. There's in the Venn diagram, there's a lot to do with it because not only do people concentrate on the technical aspects of what they're doing and their training and whatnot, but also the performance aspect and the moods that they have to do and the performances that they have to do and the fact that they get judged by it's sort of like people when they rate matches 5 stars, 4.5 stars, they have to do the same thing in front of judges who are giving them numerical values. I don't know, it's kind of more similar than you would expect.
Okay, when you put it in that light, I go, oh, you're right. So,
Yeah,
on the same
different.
vein, yeah. I mean, I never would have connected the two just on my own, but with that direction, with that, the connotation behind it, it's yeah, you know what? They are kind of similar. With that in mind, who can you name your favorite, figure skaters back in that time frame?
I liked Scott Hamilton when he would backflip on his ice skates because that is absolutely ridiculous. I think it was Scott Hamilton who did that. See, now things are getting all
jumbled,
contaminated in my head. But
yes, it was also, Scott. Yes, Emil, for the record, yeah, it was Scott Hamilton. Used to do the backflips and everything. Yes.
Good call. Okay, very good. Huck with the Huck is what was that show on ESPN, Stump the Schwab? He'll just come in and be like, yeah, sports knowledge.
I thought you were going to say Idiot Savant, which is also correct. I was kind of more of a Brian Bortano kind of girl, but I can't remember if that was 90s or whatever, but he kind of had it going on.
Time.
And of course, the whole Tanya Harding thing, that was pretty, if that wasn't wrestling, I don't know what was. The big, hitter in the knee.
Well, then they took that and WCW made that into an angle with Hogan and the Butcher, which led to Starrcade '94. That whole build-up was based off of the Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan thing with the masked man in black with the black stick clubbing Hogan in the back of his knee. And I believe it was a Clash of the Champions, and then he pulled off the mask at Halloween Havoc '94 to reveal the Butcher and the setup for Starrcade '94. Yep, that's right.
Amazing. Guys, you learn a whole lot. Figure skating and wrestling, they are so intertwined, you don't even realize it. All right. So, I'm sorry. The figure skating thing, technologies, let's go back and let's talk wrestling.
Please.
What got you in people aren't ready for? Some people just aren't ever ready for to ease them in slowly. That just sounded bad. Sorry.
No, that sounded pretty good to me, actually.
But no, seriously, wrestling. Tell me some of your first. What is your early way of wrestling? What got you hooked?
The very first thing I saw. I had no idea what professional wrestling was until I actually saw it for the first time, which was well, actually, that kind of makes a whole lot of sense. But I'd never even really heard about it. I didn't even know what it was. If it professional wrestling wasn't, I would have no idea. Dudes fighting or whatever. But one day I was watching American Gladiators and on my local Fox affiliate, and after American Gladiators was WWF Superstars, but before Superstars, they would always put the parental advisory, hey, don't try this at home. So I thought that it was a bad show and I wasn't supposed to watch it. So every week I would turn the channel. And then this week, this one particular Saturday, I was too lazy and I didn't want to turn the channel because I didn't have the remote in my hand. And next thing you know, I see the next thing you know, Shawn Michaels is coming down to the ring. This is June of 1995. And Shawn Michaels looking cool as hell, and then it cuts to Vince McMahon and Doc Hendricks. Doc Hendricks is wearing this purple suit, and I was so intrigued as to what exactly was about to happen because here comes this guy with zebra print, and he's got music, and fans are, and these people are screaming their heads off, and then it cuts to these two dudes that are just talking about it, and then it cuts to the show intro, which was really cool at that time for the mid-90s. It had the cool theme music. It had the cool-looking video graphics and whatnot. And then I was just like, by that time I was hooked. I hadn't even seen a second of wrestling yet, and I was like, this show is really cool. And then the bell rang, and it was Shawn Michaels and Brooklyn Brawler, and that was the first match I ever saw. And I just kept watching, and then after that day, I looked for any word that said wrestling in my TV guide, and I was like looking, trying to find all the wrestling I could from that point on. So it wasn't a gradual thing at all. It was literally in the moment of about 3 minutes from the first time I saw it, and I was like, "Yep, this is it. This is what I like now." And here we are, going on 23 years later, and I still enjoy each and every moment of it.
That's amazing. Brooklyn Brawler and Shawn Michaels. Most people would not go, well, that was a classic match, but again, that's just the scope of wrestling, where something, just catches your eye, makes you stop, and just you're drawn in. That's what I love about wrestling. Speaking about things I love.
Yeah, and the weird thing about that match too, is that since then I've watched it back. I found that episode of Superstars and I watched it back. But the thing that I noticed when I watched it back about a year and a half ago is that in that first match there was not a pinfall attempted, and the Shawn Michaels won by countout. So first match in, I still had no idea what the actual logistical thing in pro wrestling was to do. Like, I didn't know pinning somebody to the mat until like the second or third match I ever watched. So I feel like that's a weird thing that not a lot of people ever experience.
That's true. Gosh. The innocence of it all, the naivety. I was saying, speaking of things that I love, let me go ahead and remember to tell everybody that you want to check out our friends over at Indie Customs. I love Kimberly and the whole group over there. They can take care of all your needs here. And of course, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast. Today we are talking to our friend Emil J. And I'm going to let William Huckabee speak. I feel this is how it should be. I should speak a whole lot, but if I don't let him talk, there's going to be trouble. So, Huck, go ahead.
Yeah, if you don't let me talk, you're fired.
See? Trouble!
Speaking of fire, Emil, because, I've met you, and for people who've seen the picture and stuff, you don't look like somebody who would be the voice of CZW and the mind behind CZW's, student trainee show Dojo Wars or whatever. How did you become the ring announcer for CZW, and what is your mindset when you go out there knowing that you are, I guess for lack of a better word, the ringmaster of the entire CW franchise?
Basically, I had been ring announcing for a few local Southern Jersey independents for a little while. I started with NWA Force One back in November of 2008, and then I started ring announcing for them in 2010. So I had a couple of years of ring announcing experience under my belt. And then in 2013, Larry Legend his schedule got to be too busy that he couldn't commit to CZW on a regular basis, 2012. That's when that was. And then he at Cage of Death that year in 2012, right before DJ and Tremont, I believe that was Cage of Death 14. He called me into the ring and he said, you know what, you're the new voice of CCW, and that was a complete, nobody, Maven didn't know, DJ didn't know, I didn't know. Larry went ahead and did that himself to kind of give me that title, which I appreciated. And ever since then, when Larry's been available, for an elongated period of time, he's come on and retaken the helm, which I don't mind. It's not as if in WWE, if when Tony Chimmel was doing it, if Howard Finkel wanted to come back, Tony Chimmel wouldn't be like, no, bro, you can't. No, that's exactly how it was to me. If you're the guy, if you want to come back and do it, yeah, I'll just sit over by commentary and do that too. It doesn't matter to me. But now that I've been been the guy at CZW, ring announcer wise, pretty consistently over the course of the past 2-3 years. Like, I really enjoy it. You know, when I first started, people kind of like to give me some shit or give me, I don't know, excuse me, I don't know if I'm allowed to say words here, but
yes, you can curse. Yes, this is like the CZW
What
podcast.
the fuck did he just ask?
All right, word. So, like, yeah, the fans were giving me shit a lot, you know, and, you know, whether or not it was, like, serious or not, but I think since I've been doing it consistently, like, you know, the fans still give me shit, but they like me, too, now, and, like, everybody is like, man, you're doing a good job, and that feels good, and I like being the guy to kind of push things along and keep the show moving and this, that, and the other. Like, it's fun to me, because if you don't have if you don't have a ring announcer that knows, like, how exactly, you know, things are supposed to go and progress, like, that could lead to a lot of dead time on shows and a lot of just empty, blank space that, you know what I mean? Like, you got to know how to push a pace and keep the show moving and keep the crowd into it, and that's just what I try to do every time.
Now, I'm going to ask you this because, like, I work, you know, at least 150 shows a year, and I travel up and down, not just the East Coast, but Midwest. Just came back from Mexico, putting myself over there, people. Yes, I am. You are very unique as a ring announcer, like super unique. Do you think that, you know, your style comes from the fact that you do love hip hop and you do watch a lot of battle rap and stuff, so you know about timing and cadence and how to, you know, when to raise your voice and when to lower your voice?
Yeah, well, absolutely. For something like David Starr's entrance, where he's got all those nicknames all in a row, and another thing that I pride myself on is, like, I don't like to use notes. I like to memorize shit. I like to be out there and say it, like, you know, say it correctly, but without looking at notes, and present it on a professional, like, in a professional way. So David Starr, you know, he was like, hey man, here's my intro. The first time he sent it to me, it was like 11 nicknames or whatever. I was like, oh shit, like, this, I got to remember all this. But then I looked at it and I was like, okay, well, if I memorize this in a way that I would a verse or something like that, because I used to write. I still do from time to time, just to, you know, keep my mind active. But, like, I'm like, okay, so if I use these mnemonic devices that I would use to memorize a 16 or a 32, I can use those same principles to memorize this dude's 11 nicknames in the specific order in which he has them. So I think watching the battle rap and because all battle rap is mic work, really. It's controlling the crowd and controlling the room and knowing how to say it, when to say it, how to say it, what tone, vocal inflection, and, you know, all sorts of that. And, yeah, you know, now that I never really thought about it before you mentioned it, but yeah, I think that could be it.
Well, the reason why I'm saying that is because, like, at the last show the last dog show in Glassboro, New Jersey, I was listening to the ring announcer. I was like, man, I looked at one of the boys in the back. I was like, do you listen to battle rap? And they were like, no, not really. And I was like, look, check this dude out real quick. And I brought up Loaded Lux versus, I think it was Loaded Lux versus Calico.
Yeah, where Loaded Lux was wearing he was wearing the funeral garb.
Yes, and I was like, listen to Loaded Lux, now listen to Emil when he ring announces. I was like, just listen to his voice. And after the next match, he was like, yeah, he does kind of like sound like him, not like voice wise, but yeah, I could see that.
Wow, that's crazy. And Loaded Lux is a fucking legend. Like, he's like top 1 or 2 or 3, like, he's up there.
Now, I'm about to say, I'm going to ask you, before I pass it back to Mika, I'm going to ask you your top 3, because I've already looked on Twitter and seen your top 3 favorite actual rappers. What are your top 3 favorite battle rappers and your favorite round and battle rap history ever?
Okay, so my favorite round has got to be Averb's third against Hitman, which ended in the Hey Gerald.
Yes.
That's the way he talked to his son. That I actually, a couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, I think I clipped it and I put it on Twitter. Actually, whenever Bender passed away, it was a couple days after that because I posted a Bender clip and then I posted that Averb clip. In terms of top 3 battlers, like, that's insane. That's such an insane question. Because, like, for me, like, it always changes, like, right now who I'm feeling, like, but that, like, man, I know Ilmac is up there, for sure. I mean, I've been following him since the Jump Off World Rap Championships in 2006 when he was teaming with Thesaurus, and then they became 2-time World Rap Champions. I mean, I gotta say, Ilmac, I love Charlie Clips, and, I mean, like, Averb, like, prime Averb is really, really, really good. Right now, that would probably be my top 3. Ilmac, Charlie Clips, and Averb, but if you ask me that same question in, like, 25 minutes, that could change.
Well, we got, I think, I would definitely have Averb in his prime, because his Guardian Angels, remember that Guardian Angels verse they had?
Yes.
Yes, like, that's probably like my, even though I love the Big Gerald line, that's probably my favorite. Like, the Guardian Angels ducking verse was like prime Averb. It was like, oh God, like, how do you even come back from that? So I like Averb, and I have to give it to Loaded Lux, because Loaded Lux, when he's on, can beat anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Absolutely, and he showed that in his battle with Calico, in that even though he stumbled in his first, he choked in the first, and then he finished that first verse in the second, but Calico on that night beats any other battle rapper in the world on that day. Calico was incredible that day. Just so happened that Loaded Lux, even with a stumble, happened to control the crowd as well as he did and had enough material to overcome that. I think Loaded Lux is the only person that could beat Calico on that day.
And then, of course, me being a Carolina guy, I got to give it up to the Carolina boys, T-Top and Briz. Like, those two, like, I'm putting it as a tie for my third. Like, I got to give it to those two.
This isn't even fair to T-Top, but it's funny as shit, like, because Smack had Smack Volume 2 this past weekend, and I was watching the pre-show on YouTube, I'm sorry, and they were done with the interviews with the Champion podcast, and they were getting ready to show the first round of the first battle for free, which was Mike P versus Young Cannon. They were going to show that for free on YouTube, but they were having problems with the stream. So they kept replaying the same T-Top music video. Like, I had to listen to that song like 4 or 5 times in a row, and I was like, no, this is so bad. Get it away.
So good.
Because Big K was talking about how T-Top's song was trash, and like the first time I was listening to it, I was like, yeah, it was cool. And then like the more I listened to it, I was like, you know what? Big K's right. This song is trash. And I'm a huge Big K fan. So I can't wait to see when that battle drops, T-Top and Big K. Like, that whole Smack card looked ridiculous. I didn't order the pay-per-view because I still, for whatever reason, I still don't trust battle rap pay-per-views. It's so weird to me, but I can't do it yet. I'm sure one day I will. And
me either.
I'm trying to go to
me either. I just kind of wait until they come out on YouTube. But one day I'm gonna come up to New York and I'm gonna be there for like a Summer Madness.
Oh my God, I'd love to go to Summer Madness or like Nome. But I think this year I'm gonna try to hit up Massacre, King of the Dot Massacre up in Massachusetts. They're doing a blackout style event, so like nobody's gonna know the matches until they happen. And the main event's gonna be Head Ice versus Nems coming back. And Nems coming back is pretty huge for battle rap because he was real big on Fight Club and whatnot. So fuck your life, Nems is back. So
Well, with that being said, Emma, it was great talking to you. I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to Mika because I know our time with you is very limited. Mika, what do you have for our guest tonight?
Oh my gosh, I just learned so much. So, once again, guys and girls, this is the Wrestling Nerdcast brought to you on the Angry Marks Podcast Network. We are here with our guest, Emil J. And I'm so tempted. I'm not going to do this right now, but I'm tempted to have you drop some bars because clearly you are deep in the game. Is that how you say it? I am totally like lame, but your love of battle rap and your love of wrestling.
How about next time you have me on the show, I'll come prepared with like 16 or 32 bars or something. I'll come prepared. I'll whip something up. And next time you have me on the show, I can perform that for you.
All right, I kind of like that. That sounds that sounds really good. I was thinking maybe you maybe have something if I bump into you during Mania week here, just boom, break it out. Just drop a freestyle and see how we do.
That might happen too. It depends what I have going on in my system at the time.
That's why I was thinking then, because I figured, you'd be more liquid courage the better, and that would be the freshest freestyle ever right then and there.
Yeah, you got to catch me at the right level of drunk though, because if I'm too drunk, then it doesn't come out good. So you got to. There's a slim window where I'm still able to sound good and make stuff up on the fly.
Okay, there are levels to it. And speaking of sound good and on the fly, with you being a ring announcer, you've had to have gone to other shows that you weren't working, and you hear ring announcers. What advice would you give someone, or just kind of tell anybody who's looking to kind of further their career or better themselves as a ring announcer in this business? Because you've got some clout, man. You've got some swagger there. So people want to be you when they grow up. So how can they do that? What advice would you give?
First of all, confidence is everything. If you don't sound like you know what you're saying, or if you don't sound like you're supposed to be there, then it's not going to fly. Well, confidence is 1A. I'd say number one is like you got to look the part. You got to look like you belong in that ring. Now, there's always going to be outliers to this. Like if you're doing an outside show, yes, you're not supposed to get in a full suit in an outside show. You're going to be sweating your nuts off. It's not prudent. It doesn't make sense. If you're at a deathmatch show, I don't suggest wearing a suit to a deathmatch show because you might get your good suit messed up. That's why I always I always dress down for deathmatch shows because I'm not trying to get my good clothes messed up. And it's also a different feeling. But any other time, unless the promoter wants a certain look, like a certain dressed down look or something like that, which is possible. Some promoters like that. But you want to look like you're supposed to be there, and you want to sound like you're supposed to be there, and that's pretty much it. And carry yourself like for me, not it's hard for me to say carry yourself in this way because one, look at my social media and people are like, how the fuck are you telling anybody how to which is true, but also I'm not trying to get signed. You know what I mean? I'm just not. I'm here having fun. I like doing independent wrestling. I like where I'm at right now. Would I like to be more places? Yeah, but that doesn't mean I want to be, locked in, signed to a contract and stuff like. You know what I mean?
You enjoy your freedom. You enjoy the ability to do stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I like traveling, but not all of the time. You know what I mean? And I feel like if I was on the road somewhere, of course I get used to it, and I'd probably really enjoy it for a little while. But I don't know. I like what I'm doing right now. It's pretty chill. And plus I get to be me. There's nobody's really telling me, hey, you have to be like this. You have to act like this. I like having the freedom. I like being me. I like having the opportunity to just say things and people like it or they don't, whatever, I don't care. But for people starting out, definitely be chill and be cool. That's probably number one. Just be cool. Don't The more cool people in a locker room, the better. You know what I mean? And, like, just be cool, be confident, and look the part. You should have no problems. And, you know, being cool means being respectful and all that.
Well, speaking of all that and some travel, by all means, I know you're traveling. You're hitting up New Orleans. So tell us about the shows, the CCW shows that are going to be happening there. So all of our fans, if they have not yet gotten their butts a ticket, that they can get tickets and get their butts there.
Yeah, that would be real good. Our show, CCW Welcome to the Combat Zone, is going to be taking place Saturday afternoon at the Sugar Mill at 3 p.m. Central Time is bell time, 4 p.m. on the East Coast. But it begins at 3, and some of the marquee matches that we're going to see, of course, for the CCW Championship, we're going to have Ricky Shane Page defending against Ethan Page. We're also going to see the OVE Open Challenge, which has been accepted by Bandito and Flamita, and that match should be absolutely out of control. I'm not sure, because I know Ospreay got hurt at New Japan, or that Spanish Fly didn't necessarily go right.
Yeah.
I think he's wrestling, but I'm not sure. If he does wrestle, he's tentatively scheduled to face Desmond Xavier, which is a High Flyers dream match. And then we have some mixed tag competition. Joey Janela teaming with Penelope Ford, and Joey Ryan will be in the house against Maxwell Jacob Friedman as MJF defends his World Wire title. And there's Joe Gacy and Jeff Cobb. That's another huge match, especially for Joe down there. And I know there's a couple more, but I don't have the card exactly in front of me. But those are the marquee matches that are going to be taking place on Saturday at the Sugar Mill in New Orleans, Saturday 3 p.m. And we will be done with enough time so that folks can get to NXT. Yeah, so NXT starts at 8 o'clock, I believe. 7 Central Time, I believe, because it starts on the network at 8. Our show starts at 3. We'll be done with enough time that you guys can get a bite to eat and still make it to NXT, because I know that's what a lot of people are going to be trying to do, or whatever it is that people want to do that night.
Okay. All right. See, look how wrestling is. That's a stacked show, first and foremost, and a considerate show. I mean, get you in, get some kick-ass wrestling, and get you out, so then you can go eat and see NXT if your little heart desires. So that's amazing. Before you go
that's my plan.
Yeah, see, this is a part of the show, if Huckabee was saying it, this is a part of the show where you can put yourself over or, quote-unquote, get your shit in. Is there anything else you want to plug before I let you go?
Okay.
It's all you. Tell us what you want us to know. Tell us what our fans need to know, where they can follow you on your social media, and what other shows outside of Mania we have coming up for you.
Okay, so at the Emil J, TheEmiljay on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. In terms of like other places you can see me at, like, we got On Point Wrestling. I'm a regular there. H2O, Matt Tremont group. Dojo Wars will be coming back very soon. Of course, as Huckabee said, with Dog, who is they're going to be having a lot more shows on a more regular basis now, which is good. Of course, Standalone Wrestling, which is a big thing starting up in South Jersey. Their Boardwalk Beatdown coming up here in Atlantic City on the weekend on August 24th and 25th. On Friday night, we have a Dinner with the Stars that I will be emceeing and moderating, because not only is it going to be dinner, but it's also going to be a question and answer session with guys like Ken Shamrock and Abyss, DJ High, Tremont, all the way up to like Demolition is going to be there. So among others. So runs a wide gamut of people that are there, and able to tell stories and whatnot. So I'm really looking forward to that. That's Friday, and then the following day is a convention where Goldberg and Sting will be at, and then that night is going to be a huge wrestling card at the Claridge in Atlantic City. But yeah, I'm really excited about standalone wrestling because they're very close to where I live, and that's always a good thing. But you know, also like I'll be returning for Pro Wrestling Explosion on Friday, April 20th in Philadelphia. Pro Wrestling Explosion, and probably a whole bunch of other places, but I'll leave it at that. So not one person can say, "Hey, you forgot about me." I can get like 8 people saying, "Hey, you forgot about me." I'll be like, "Yeah, I forgot about a lot of people. Sorry." No, but I appreciate anybody that has me. I love working this professional wrestling thing. I want to do more. I have fun doing it. I love independent wrestling. So yeah, if you guys need a commentator, ring announcer, or backstage interview guy or thought guy, quote unquote matchmaker, booker, whatever, yeah, let me know. I'm there to help. I love doing it. So please, anytime.
Well, thank you so much. You have been absolutely wonderful. I've learned a whole lot about battle rap and figure skating. So we can't wait to have you back to get those 16 or 32 somewhere down the line.
Pro wrestling talk. I'm very little pro wrestling talk. I'm sorry. Next we have me, not only will there be a lot more wrestling talk, there will be wrestling bars. That will happen.
There we go. That's a promise. So thanks again to our guest, Emil J. We'll let you go. And we'll catch you down the road. I'll definitely going to bump into your Mania and try to make sure we're on the right drunkenness level for those bars.
Absolutely. Let's do it. Yeah. Looking forward to it.
Sweet. Take care.
You too.
All right. Huckabee, you still
What up,
there
homie?
in beautiful? Oh my gosh. I think I just became a miniature battle rap connoisseur. I mean, I don't want to say that. I'm not an expert at all. But yeah, that was amazing. I like MLJ.
Well, I knew you was going to like him. I know our fans was going to like him. I'm going to send you, if you want me to, I'll send you a couple of battle raps, like, you know, competitions, whatever, the big ones that you should definitely check out that I think you'll like.
Please do. I mean, I need to get well versed in verses. Is that like how that goes? No. Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of how it goes. Yeah.
All right. Cool. I'm good. I'm good and I'm cool. I'm cool. Also, like our friends over at Pro Wrestling World. You got to check them out on Facebook if you have not done so. They've got everything and anything in the world of professional and independent wrestling. Check them out on Facebook. Say hey, tell them we sent you. Just make sure that you go over and check out Pro Wrestling World. This was a great show. I think that all the shows should be like this. We should have Minimal, Huckabee, and All Me. What do y'all think? No? Okay. I tried.
Not at all. No.
Oh, crap. I forgot you were still there. Shoot. Okay. Well, Huck, before we wrap this one and call it, you want to go ahead and get your shit in, sir?
Yeah, so on my way back from Mexico, but Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, I guess you can call it the weekend of IWA Mid-South. I will be in Memphis, Indiana for IWA Mid-South. I'll be there Thursday night signing autographs and working the gimmick tables. Friday I'll be there assisting some friends and stuff for the tryout show. And then Saturday is the big IWA Mid-South show. So, bam.
Bam. All right. I've seen that card, guys. If you have not already, check it out online. That card looks pretty stacked, and Huckabee's there to boot. So if you're in that way, or you can get that way, you absolutely positively want to go ahead and get to IWA Mid-South. As for myself, this is WrestleMania week. I will be in New Orleans. I will be at WrestleMania. I've got a couple other shows on my docket that are kind of just fell into my lap. So if you see me out and around, by all means, feel free to get your girl a drink or one of these lovely beignets people keep telling me that I must have. I don't turn down food or drink, y'all.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely, if you're in New Orleans, you definitely got to try a beignet. And it's a beignet, not a big net, or whatever the hell you just called it. Oh, and get your shrimp po' boy while you're at it.
That's my ears. Okay. So, I almost thought you were telling me to get like a dude. I'm like, I'm not into paying for dudes. I'm sorry. But okay, that was food. Gotcha. Shrimp po' boy. I'll see what I can do. On that note, you have been listening to the Wrestling Nerdcast on the Angry Marks podcast, brought to you by our friends at Indie Customs. The world champion of a bunch of places, AIWF, and 850 belts, William Huckabee. He is in lovely San Antonio right now, heading back to North Carolina from Mexico, so he doesn't have to give his 850 names. Ha ha. I have been your host, Mika Villas. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and as always, please support independent wrestling, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.